Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
Welcome to A Creator-Based Life, the weekly podcast for CMH Coaching. We empower women of faith to create the lives they love, the lives they've always wanted, even on a Monday. And I'm here with Jacine. Say hello, Jacine.
Hey guys.
Jacine's a business coach. She's a mom, a grandma, an avid runner. And she's been recently doing something different for her physical training. Your 5:30 a.m. class. I know you switched from that but what was your 5:30 a.m. class?
It's a HIIT training, so high intensity training. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Jacine's like that. She likes things like that, like
Jacine's
climbing mountains and mountain biking and horseback riding. That she's our girl. She's our girl that way.
Yeah.
And then we're here with Jennifer DeRoos, who is a coach. Say hi, Jen.
Hi, and I'm low intensity. So I do the yoga and the Pilates and walk. I don't do that high intensity stuff.
No. And Jen can grow almost anything, gardener. And she's a hypnotherapist. And she is a really amazing hypnotherapist. And I'm Beth. You guys know me. I'm an author and the creator of The Creator-Based Way. Create your one awesome, amazing, perfect life. With allergies today in Texas, where I don't know what's in the air, but something is really in the air just the last couple of days. It's been good thought work to think about how healthy I am and how well my body's working. And that seems to make a difference. So this week, we have been talking about the end of resilience. Today's the last day of resilience. And I shouldn't say the end of resilience because it doesn't mean you can't be resilient tomorrow. But this is the last week we're going to talk about resilience and fatigue, which I think is kind of cool to bring it up on the day when I've got some allergy symptoms, because that's one of the big things that happens with me. If I get ragweed has not been my friend, and the ragweed's real high. And the first thing that happens for me is I feel really fatigued and my nose runs, but really there's not a lot of other symptoms, just really fatigued. And I'll wake up and I'll be like, what is going on? This is not me. And then they'll say, well, this count is really high on the allergy. So a little bit about fatigue and about how to rest up and replenish and refill in all circumstances. So we dropped the summer self-care program. It's going to be October tomorrow, October the 1st.
We're done. Yeah.
Yeah. And which makes it really truly fall. I mean, first day of fall was last week, but once you hit October, it's like October, we hit birthday season, October. But then there's birthdays, there's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, and all of the holidays. Things just seem to really hit full speed. But at the same time, when things are really picking up, we still need to take care of ourselves. So I thought maybe we could talk about that this week and about ways that you can get some good self-care in, because you need it this fall more than ever as world picks up. What are you thinking, Jacine?
I just got back. You guys know I just got back from a whirlwind week, last week, flown from Oregon to Houston to do a pre-clinic opening, a soft opening, with two doctors and new team members, and it was pretty high intensity.
It was a lot of stuff. Your high intensity workout for 3 days.
It was. Plus, I got up and did my high intensity workouts beforehand. Yeah, I'm not
Wow.
sure that was a great idea, but so, and then on the back end, I flew directly from Houston to be in California for Thursday, Friday, which I was going to do site visits, but that got rescheduled, which I'm super grateful for, because you're talking about, I was really, really done, fatigued.
Fatigue, right? And I just love that quote. Fatigue is the enemy of us all. It's a universal thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So being able to replenish and stay with my daughter was just, it was so wonderful. I did yoga on the beach on Saturday morning in
So
Oxford,
jealous.
California with Marquetta. And
Oh, tell about the sound bath.
oh my gosh, yeah. So she brought her crystal bowls, and I wish I would have asked her what keys they were in. She had
Mm.
3 different ones. And so anyway, she just did a sound bath with the crystal bowls to start with. So like a 15-minute sound bath before we started the yoga. And about 15 minutes after we started the yoga, um, we all looked out in the ocean because we were facing the ocean and the waves were coming in. And my daughter starts pointing. She's like, dolphins. And there were pods of dolphins that had come in. And just from the sound, it was like she called the dolphins in, and the energy that it brought, it was just, oh my gosh, that was so replenishing
Yeah, those
just to be there
frequencies, our
in
body
that.
really needs them.
And
Yeah. Well, not to mention all of the beautiful, beautiful energy of being on the beach,
yes,
right? And
yeah,
all the
grounded
ions and
in
yeah.
the sand and with the ocean sound, and yeah, oh yeah.
Well, because we take it for granted that words are the only way we communicate, but it
Oh,
is not true.
no.
There are so many communication forms. I was watching a master class a couple of weeks ago on all of the power of words and the power of language. And
Yeah.
they were talking about how children, up until they're about the age of 2, can make all these different sounds. Their brain is wired to make all kinds of sounds that aren't necessarily
Mm.
word sounds. But as
Hmm.
they are saturated in our environment and we help them choose the
Yeah.
sounds they will make, those neural pathways die off and they're unable to make those sounds without significant effort after that.
Really?
You think about the power of the sound bath with the crystals and the
Yeah.
bringing in of the dolphins and all of the different sounds and ways that we communicate in our environment, whether it's from a thought. I mean, you can feel it when you come into the room and 2 people have had an argument.
Oh yeah.
There is definitely something going there that's not verbalized, right? Yeah, it's really impressive how many different ways we communicate, and in turn, how many different ways we can replenish ourselves through those same things or deplete ourselves through those same things.
True.
Seth came home on Saturday to do some more work for the wedding because, it's 3 weeks till the wedding. And on the way around the corner down our little country lane, 2 of the bolts on his wheel sheared off.
What?
And so for the last 300, 500 yards, he just kind of limped along slowly in his brand new to him beautiful car with the wheel falling off.
Oh my word.
And he didn't say anything, but when he came in the house, the tone of the house changed. He just didn't have to say anything. And it was probably 3 or 4 hours later that things began to shift back. But he was just so tied up with all of the thoughts. Okay, my new car, I'm stuck at my parents' house forever. I'm trapped here again, like I'm a 13-year-old, and here that I have nothing. How am I ever going to get out of this? I have all of this work I need to do, and I just don't need this. And he didn't say any of it. But it wasn't until evening when we talked that he gave words to all that. And we're like, oh yeah, we all felt it. We all knew. It's fascinating.
Wow.
What do you think, Jen?
Oh no, I totally agree with that, and I have personal experience with that where because I think I'm pretty sensitive to people's like moods and things like that, and so I have gone into a place and it's been very calming, but I've also gone into places where it's been just chaotic. And I've
Yeah.
actually have a family member that she's learned that if she creates that chaos, people will cater to her because we don't want to feel it.
Interesting.
We don't want to
Yes,
feel it.
they want it to end. Make it stop. Make it stop.
We want
What
to
can
fix
I
it.
do?
We want it to be done. And so
Yeah.
she would go and just so this is interesting. And the other thing too is in the beginning of my marriage, I always was like, go to bed and figure it out tomorrow type thing, you know? And my husband's like, no, he goes, we're gonna put this to rest now because I don't want to live in this feeling. And I really respect that about
I
him because
appreciate that. I don't want to live in this
yes,
feeling. Yes.
he taught me how to resolve so that we can move past it. And I had to actually really shift a lot on that because I was like, well, I'm supposed to swim in this for a while and feel horrible about myself. He's like, no,
This
let's
is the model that I was taught, right? This
exactly.
is supposed to go this way,
Mhm.
not just
Yeah.
make it better.
There's
Yeah.
no other way to do this. He's like, no, let's discuss this. Let's get over it. Let's move on. And then I would look at him like an hour later and go, how are you over this? You know, and he's like, oh, it's just gone and done. And I'm all like, okay. But he taught me how to help set the tone when there's been like friction. So
Well,
yeah.
I
Wow,
know
I
for
love
me,
that.
when
Yeah.
things go awry and they don't go my way, and my feelings either are wounded or I'm angry, one or the other, that for me, if I go to my creator
Mhm.
and follow the steps of the first thing I need to do is check in with him, and then to ask for forgiveness for my part in whatever happened with him, you know, and ask for that companionship to be back with me so I can feel close to him. Just those first three steps are a huge shift for me. And normally, when I get to that third step of feeling close to him again, a new thought will come in and there will be a new way to work it out. And things like you were saying about your husband, at that point, things just have processed through
Mhm.
and it's just better. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes it takes me a while till I get here, though.
Oh, I know. I
That-
want to be so
that is
right.
true.
I want to be
Sometimes
so
I'd
right.
rather kick and
Yeah.
fuss and be angry. But
Yeah.
it doesn't make me feel good to do that. So kind of unlearning that modeling and learning a new model.
Yeah.
In a based way.
True.
Well,
I like that.
things really are picking up pace. Yeah, they are. They're going to be just wild and woolly at my house. But the way we can look at that, there's twofold, and I keep working with that. Wild and woolly can be really soft and fluffy and wonderful,
Mhm.
or wild and woolly can be full of, like it is around here right now, my border collie, full of briars and burrs because he's been out running the property and stickers. So how do we make the soft woolly and the good woolly out of the wild and woolly that we come up for in the holiday season? Because that's where we're going. Let's just give you a jumping off point. CMH. CMH stands for compassion, mindfulness, and hope. You guys know we do that all the time. But when I started looking at the CMH, the compassion, my first thought was to create for myself, and I'm practicing this stuff, y'all, because we are really picking up the pace. We're going to have 100 people, maybe 125 people here for the wedding in a couple of weeks. And a lot of them will be in my house. And it's going to be like 3 days of really full, intense, wild and woolly.
Right.
Is it going to be wild and woolly, soft and snuggly? Or is it going to be wild and woolly like briars and thorns, So
Mhm.
the compassion,
Can it,
as
can it be a mixture? Like,
I totally think it can.
Yeah, it will be because you have too many
Yeah.
people.
Right.
There's
Everybody's
just
on-
too much energy going on. Unless I do sound baths 24/7 and just walk around with the sound bowls, right? They're like, Seth, your mom is so weird. But anyway, creating compassionate moments. That's what I've been working on. And so just compassionate moments during the day. And I've really been practicing since we started the rehab. So it's been a few months, taking time for 3 deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
I get pulled so many different directions, and I don't think I have time for 3 deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
But those long double breaths that we've learned about in Mastermind, where you have a deep breath in and then a second short breath and then a really long breath out through pursed lips to kind of help control that air. I will be arguing with myself all the way through the first breath. You don't have time to do this. There's this that needs to be done. But did you forget that? And I'll do the second breath, and somewhere between the second and the third breath, it's like I just go.
See,
And after
you're
the
so
third breath,
good.
it's so much better.
You're so good, because I love that you're like, I don't have time for it. Mine, like, the story in my head is, this is the dumbest thing ever. It's not
Why do
gonna,
I have to do this?
it's not going to work. Yeah, but I'm gonna do it because Beth told me. And then by the second one, it's like, oh. And the
Then
third,
the third
like,
one, you're like in this Zen space.
oh, Beth and Jen, you guys are amazing. Yeah.
Jen, can you explain to us a little bit? I know that you follow Andrew Huberman, Dr. Huberman, and we have heard him explain why the double breath works. I know you learned it from him. It has to do with the vagus nerve and the massage of the diaphragm on the vagus nerve.
And that's about all I really know about it, because I don't really know the science stuff of it. But just by taking those, it's actually, I think he said this. I think, don't quote me on it.
Okay.
But it's actually that, like, when you see an upset child or an upset baby go,
the gasp.
Yes.
It's natural. We naturally know how to reset this nerve.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
so,
or like when we get really upset, I watched one of his
The
videos
sobbing.
and showed somebody in bed crying themselves to sleep. And when we're trying to get ourselves back together, and so that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think he's the one that talked about that. It's a natural way to help to reset the vagus nerve and kind of bring ourselves to, like, that parasympathetic
it activates it again.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I that's all I know about it. And you have to, though, use, for some reason, there's the intensity of the diaphragm and the exhale,
because the diaphragm actually runs up against the vagus nerve, and so it will basically massage the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
And with that, then your body goes, oh, well, that feels nice.
Yeah, and so I want more of that. Yeah, yeah.
Right. I love
But
that.
it's interesting that it's done physically and not through a thought. But you have to have the thought to then say, do this practice.
That much thought, yes, but you don't have to understand what's going on. You don't have to choose a new thought. You don't have to do anything in your head. It's a somatic release. You just activate your physical body.
Yeah.
And with that calming, then if you want to, you can have the new thoughts after you're done. Yeah. But for me, it feels so compassionate. What were you saying, JC?
It's just super helpful, to have it be a physical response and then be able to have the ability to think clearly after that. I love in your Monday morning inspiration email, guys, if you haven't signed up for this, you have to do it. I love Monday morning inspiration. There's Beth writes, feelings and thoughts are directly related. We know that, but did you know that a thought held long enough becomes a belief? A belief held long enough becomes a perception, and that can become our personality and ultimately our character. We want to take timely to process our feelings. And that interruption, for me, that breathing is an interruption in my thought process, so that I can interrupt the beliefs that aren't really reality. I can believe something that's not reality.
We're really good at making up stories.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for that in the Monday morning inspiration. I really that was my favorite.
Well, because it's truth. I mean, I have watched it over the last 10 years, as I have directly decided to change my beliefs
Mhm.
and have gotten into coaching and gotten into this stuff. I mean, my kids tell me, you're not even the same person anymore. You're so different. The way I see what my reality is different because the beliefs, the thoughts changed the beliefs, and the
Mhm.
beliefs have changed the perception and ultimately the reality,
Mm.
which
And your
is so
character.
bizarre. And we saw that with Seth. Like when his whole reality shifted. He went from being a young executive who was free and doing great in his life to being a trapped 13-year-old who was going to be stuck at his parents' house forever. Just like that. Yeah.
So quick. And it wasn't true, right?
It
That
wasn't true. It was
story wasn't
perception.
true. But if he sat in it long enough and didn't take time, right, to process that and to
I
really
wouldn't
think,
let him move back in. I'm sorry. No,
I know.
we're not going back to 13-year-old boys ever. We're done with that. Yes.
Even 13-year-old boys and 26-year-old men bodies.
That's right. That's right. No, not doing that. One of the other things that I loved this last week was Saundra Dalton-Smith sent me her weekly, and I love her weekly blog. And it was about resting up for the busy times ahead.
Mhm.
And you guys know me well enough. And in fact, I'm walking around with 3 broken toes, moved my office this morning and grumbled every time it hurt, just kept pushing. So much was going on. And this is what Saundra says, because it just kind of hit me right here. Rest is not for weaklings. Hollowing out space for rest is work.
Mhm.
Finding time for rest is the hands and feet of the promises we long to claim. Now just think about that. Finding time for rest is the hands and feet of the promises we long to claim. What are the promises we want to claim? We want peace. We want compassion.
Mhm.
Yeah, we want hope. We want, strength, endurance. We want to be kind and self-controlled when people are, dare I say, stupid. I shouldn't, but we would believe that they are that way. We want self-control, and finding time to rest is the hands and feet of that promise. Isn't that cool? It means saying no. I didn't do that very well today. I'm going to get the ice bag out here a little bit. It means having limits with ourselves. It means having limits with others. And it takes courage in the
Mhm.
midst of an outcome-driven society. So think about this as we go into the holiday season. Is our holiday season not outcome-driven, even more intensely than ever?
Oh,
She
yeah.
says it takes strength to walk away from good, and there's so much good in the fall, in the pursuit of better.
Mm. I
So
love
can
that.
we talk just for a few minutes about what's good in your life and what's better in your life?
Mhm.
So
Before
my
we-
office, I'll just start. My office is great. It's very good. But better might have been to give my foot another day or two to rest. Best would have been to have somebody else come move my office, which would have been lovely. What were you going to say, Jen?
Oh no, it's fine. Go ahead.
Good, better, best. Give us a good, better, or a good, better, best for you.
Go on to JC. Let me think a little bit more about it.
Okay, stew on it. What do you think, JC? Good, better, best?
So good, just coming off the week I had last week would have been just going and maybe having a couple of site visits, taking it a little bit more easy, not having a full schedule. That was good. Better was like having that experience on the beach, doing beach yoga with my daughter and spending the
But
weekend
the
with
best.
her. The best. Yeah. And I don't know, that
Was it the
it.
dolphins? Was it the
But
sound bowls with the beach, with the daughter? I mean, what was it?
How could it get better?
Was it
Yeah,
the
I mean,
afterglow?
that's like better. I think the best part of my whole weekend was my relationship with my daughter.
The
And
relationships. Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
the best. And being able to share moments of just sheer joy. And I mean, I laughed until I was crying and
Yes, those are the
snort
best.
laughing, like snort laughing. And
Yes.
so that to me was just the best. And being able to spend time with Jess and her boyfriend Jarrett, and it was just we went and went to some bars, but they were open, and in gosh, where was it? Santa Barbara. Yeah, Santa Barbara. And they were piano bars. And so there was music, and they had
Music.
saxophone players like in these different kind of set up, I guess, like Nashville, but it was open air, and you just had it was all live music. And like, oh my gosh, I loved that. It was just so incredible being with people I loved and having
In
them
that
take me
space.
to some place that they knew I would love. And that was the best.
So
Yeah.
what do you think? Do you think best then is related to relationship?
Oh, for me, for me it is.
For me, it is. For me, even with the weekend being a little bit wonky with Seth's wheels, it ended so well, and it was so fun because we got to be with him and Chloe and with Jared, and it was just the same kind of thing. The end was relationship. Yeah, and that made best. What do you think, Jen?
Um, well, this is where my brain's going. So this
Yeah,
could
let's
be
go where your
totally,
brain goes. I love where it goes.
I don't know. So sometimes I worry. No, I'm just kidding. What I'm just sitting here thinking is like, because I've had this practice of good, better, best. And there are
Mhm.
times when I've been in the good or the better, thinking that I need to find a best, but finding out that my perception of the best is not really the best, but the good is the best. Does that make sense?
It does make sense
Okay.
because
So,
we're not
yeah,
always accurate, right?
exactly. And so a lot of
Yeah.
times
For
that practice
more.
for
Yeah.
me is just having a different perception and then understanding what I have is the best and being grateful for the best.
The
Yes.
the
Gratitude.
gratitude,
So
right?
relationship
Yes.
and gratitude. Gratitude is huge
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
for
I
making
think
things the
sometimes if
best.
you're always looking for the best, you don't see what you have as good. And maybe this is the best if you changed your perception or really saw what was in front of you.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And think about that in the idea of resilience.
Yeah.
How much more energized and how much more stronger we feel when we can see the best, when we are in gratitude, when we are in relationship, in a good relationship with ourselves, in a great creator relationship, in relationship with people we love, or even the people in the car next to you at this, at the stoplight. If you're in a good space for you, you're going to be in a good space for so many other people.
Mhm.
That's really an important point, Jen. Our viewpoint makes a huge difference.
Because
When
I think there's a fine line. Because yes, you do need to look for improvement and you need to look for like, can this be a best, or
Right.
that type of thing, or looking for the best in something, but that may shift your perception too, right there,
Yeah.
But for me, who's always seeing problems, I had to change that to be, what is in front of me is really good. This is the best. This is
This
great.
is pretty fantastic.
Exactly.
I have
Exactly.
air conditioning and indoor plumbing, both at the
Yeah.
same place.
And I've had kind of this brought home to me as I've observed a friend of mine. And man, talk about having the best of everything as they build this house. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
she's an interior designer. Her stuff is fabulous.
Mhm.
I am all like, I probably wouldn't have this in my home because
Be afraid to sit on it.
I would be afraid to use it. It's like that and
Yeah.
everything. And it's just like, and I think because of what she does for her job, she's really used to excellence.
Yeah.
Seeing
Yeah.
how as they've been building this house, she cannot achieve that excellence that she wants. And I'm like, are you not even seeing the amazing goodness that's before
What
you?
is already here?
I know, and so and I'm not to say that she's bad. I'm not trying to say she's bad. I'm just
No criticism.
yeah. No criticism there. I'm just thinking, maybe I'm also a safe place for her to express this, but I am just like, it gave me kind of an opportunity to look in my life and say, is my perception with what I consider good, better, best happening? So it is, that was a little like personal
Yeah,
That's
but I
really
remember
cool.
my son
lesson.
Adam went to Argentina to serve in Cordoba on a mission for 2 years. And when he came home to our home, which we thought was pretty rudimentary, 7 kids in the farm,
Mhm.
and he was actually angry about how much we had and how luxurious our living was when people were struggling so much in Argentina. So
Wow.
much of your perspective,
Mhm.
we really do have so much.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah. All right. So let's think about this then. Creating rest for resilience through the next few months. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of things about getting through the holidays, but not just getting through, actually thriving and creating. We've got the What's Your Word workshop that'll come up in November to help you identify what it is that you really want to have happen over
Mhm.
the next year and what your goals are, what things you really want in your life, and what things you feel like your creator wants for you in your life.
Mhm.
So how then we've got the resilience that we're going to work on through rest. And then how then what other things can we do to move ourselves into a more accepting, enjoyable, grateful, resilient space as we move into October, November, December? I, for one, am going to take naps.
Mhm. I think
I
that's
have,
an absolute important practice for resilience. Because how
yeah.
resilient can you be if you're worn out?
Yeah,
Right.
it's the truth. And
Yeah.
I found that after lunch, I have a natural lull. And if, I used to think to myself, oh, good, I can get this much more done in half an hour in this break. But if I call it a lay down, I'm going to have a lay down and I'll lay down on the couch or I'll lay down. I just literally lay down, make myself stop.
Mhm.
And 9 times out of 10, I'll fall asleep 10 or 15 minutes in that half an hour and wake up just so much better for the rest of the day. I'm just nicer with an app.
Yeah.
What else? What else do you guys do?
I'm going to use, so this is a commitment. This isn't a should. This is a commitment.
It's a commitment in front of everybody,
Yes,
JC.
I am making a commitment because I've wanted to do this. So I have the Headspace app and
Oh,
I've
I love
wanted,
Headspace.
yeah, it's
I kind of had a crush on
meditation.
Andy's voice for a while.
He's pretty easy to listen to
He's
for
pretty
sure.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but just going in there, I'm committing to take that. They're like 5 or 10 minutes, but
They're so good.
I
Yes.
feel like I've had an hour nap and I can make 5 or 10 minutes out of my day, whether if I'm at a clinic, I go out to my car and just turn it on. I'm going to commit to doing that probably four
I will
days,
hold your
4 days a
commit.
week. Okay,
What
4 days
days
a
a
week,
week?
Monday
Four
through
days a week.
Thursday. Yep, 4 days a week.
4 days a week. I'm gonna hold your commit. We'll check in on you.
Okay,
And
good.
you gave me an app from Grace Smith,
Mhm.
the Grace app. And when I use the Grace app, it's like a self-hypnosis or a hypnosis app. The same thing happens to me. I can do a 20-minute with Grace, and invariably, I don't know where I go, but I disappear somewhere for
Yeah.
about 3 to 5 minutes and come back fully refreshed. Do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, and I think it's also happening for JC too. So when you are in a conscious state, trying to solve problems, working, trying to create, you're in beta and
Mhm.
your brainwave state, and you may go a little bit into alpha and theta to create if you get really focused and constant, because that's your creative state. But if you relax and you go down deep into like a deeper theta through a meditation, through a hypnosis, or through just a little nap,
Mhm.
and slip into delta, then come out. It's as if you had 8 hours of sleep. Your
Oh,
brain needs
wow.
that break. It
Wow.
needs that break from that constant beta concentration state. And so that's why you're so refreshed. And that's why you get out and go like, oh, I can do so much. Maybe it's not 8 hours, maybe it's 6, but your brain needs that break. So a lot of people
Rest.
who are successful, they take these little power naps.
Mm,
And they do these things because you have to get your brain out of that state.
Yeah.
yeah.
So Yeah.
It really makes a difference.
I do the same thing. I kind of like, I'll put something on because I want something, and I don't really fall asleep, but like you said, go to a place, and then all of a sudden I hear her talking me out of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, come,
Oh,
let's
I guess.
surface. Let's surface
Right.
now and get up and do something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
you feel good. You just feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get up
Mhm.
and have a stretch and move. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me just wind up. We'll wind up a little bit with this because this comes from Project Happiness. And it was a meme that I found a couple of years ago that I just really loved because it talks about three problems we have on the regular: being unhappy, being uninspired, and being unmotivated. I mean, I believe like fatigue, they are common to us all: unhappiness, uninspired, or unmotivated. But they had a new take on it about if you are unhappy, start with your body,
Mhm.
nourish it. Okay, so I know for my guys, if they come in unhappy, the first thing I think of, when did you eat last?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nourish it, rest it, like we're talking about, or move it.
Mhm.
Dizzy,
Mm.
tell us about what moving your body does for you.
Moving your body actually creates a pathway to your brain, and it takes you out of fight, flight, or freeze. And it's change your, oh gosh, what is it that Tony Robbins says? Change your like
That's all right. It'll come to you.
yeah,
It'll come to you.
yeah,
When it comes, just
yeah.
interject. Yes,
Anyway,
but the
so yeah,
actual
just
physical
move
movement,
your body. Yes.
So
And
move
it
your
it
body.
releases
directs the
endorphins.
pathway. Yes. It creates the
Endorphins,
endorphin.
right.
Have
Mhm.
you ever noticed how if you have a grumpy kid and you go outside and play, just go play,
Mhm.
run around, play, they're so much happy after.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just forget
Yeah.
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 and they're in a good space. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
even doing like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, like it's really interesting. Like even as an adult, I used to sing this with my kids: head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees and toes, knees and toes, and we
Then
just go
everybody's
faster and faster.
smiling at the end.
Yeah, and
Right.
it
Or this one, remember? In your
your
time.
time,
And then how do you do Lord?
Like
Lord,
this.
L, yeah,
Lord.
down,
Yeah.
down
With
by your,
yeah. In your
Elbows to
time,
the
Lord. Just
ribs.
moving.
yep, yeah,
Yeah.
IYTLs, and those guys,
IYTL. In your time, Lord.
IYTL.
Yeah. You make an I, you make a Y,
Make a Y, make a
make a
T,
T,
and
and then
then
you make an L for
yeah,
Lord.
bring your elbows to your ribs.
yep.
Yeah. All right. Oh, except my buttons might pop. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna yeah.
Come on
In your
now,
time. I don't want to pop
we
on
are on
camera.
camera.
But yeah,
Yeah.
in your time, Lord. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that and I love that in your time, Lord, IYTL, because not only does it move my body, but it also puts me back in sync with my
Right,
creator. Yeah.
right,
And
yeah,
and it lets me just relinquish what it is that I wanted, right? And
Mhm.
let it be in his time.
right.
Okay. So then if you are uninspired, the second one, unhappy, uninspired, start with your mind.
Mhm.
And oh, we have so much that we could invite into our minds to excite it and to open it and to get it going. Masterclass is one of my very favorite things to flip on for a little half an hour of masterclass. And then my brain's just going. I love it. And then last one, if you're unmotivated, this is the one that we all, at least I think we all struggle with the most. If you're unmotivated, there are so many sedentary things for us to do in the world that just drain our motivation. But their suggestions start with the heart. Find your why. Because if you have your why and your purpose and you're doing something that matters and you're of service, Monday comes and you think, oh, it's Monday. I can't wait. I get to go to work this week. It's so fun. That's the difference. That's what happens when you find your purpose and when you really wanted, you got reason to be up and doing, and God needs you doing what he asks you to do. It makes a huge difference. Yeah. So unhappy, uninspired, unmotivated. Your that meme is available in the Monday morning inspiration.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think I might have put it on Facebook. It's hard to tell, but I know it's in the Monday morning inspiration if you want the notes.
Yep.
Yeah. But it is
Love
just
it.
a great summary for things that just plague us all.
Mhm.
So moving forward, let's talk just a little bit about the What's Your Word class that Jen's going to do, that we're all going to do together. We didn't have a date yet.
No, it'll be a Saturday morning though, right?
Yeah, a Saturday morning, 9 o'clock Central again.
Mhm.
So we just need to look at November, probably second weekend in November would be my guess, but we'll come back and let you know. It'll be a Saturday morning at 9. And Jen, can you just give us a thumbnail of what we'll be doing and maybe
Yeah.
how it relates to this
Oh
this
gosh. Yeah.
of resilience and
For
rest?
me, it's not, and you can have your word practice be whatever it is for you. But for me, it has been where I will ponder and I actually will put out to my creator. I'm looking for a word that can kind of highlight or guide me throughout the year, kind of like my
Can
guiding and
you
my
show
teaching,
me?
learning,
Yeah,
show
and ask.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll just kind of like think of different words, and there's a great online you can go on. It's called Word Hippo if you want different, synonyms for words, and I'll like get the definition and everything because this is an aspect that I want to have in my life. This is whether it's for me to be focused on for change inside, or if I just want to create something, because these words have many different meanings, and so they
Right.
will have different areas of my life that it'll apply to. And then I just sit back and I have it around in my life. I'll make a vision. I do a vision book, so I'll make like a little
I love
vision
your
book.
vision books. I have one too now.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah.
What I think this word means to me and how I want it to in the areas of life that I want it to be, applicable to. And then I'll sit back and I'll watch how my creator works with me in creating this throughout the year. And a lot of it is not what I thought it was going to be, but it's actually better.
No.
And
Our ways are not his ways, and our thoughts are
exactly.
not his thoughts.
But at
Yeah.
least I'm a moving object so he can work with me, and so it's been just amazing how certain things have come to fruition or come to pass because of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder if I would ever have that learning or that growth if I hadn't done this. But the workshop is we talk about why words are important, and we explore a word or words that you may want to use, and then we do create a visual of that word, whatever that looks like for you, whether you want to do it electronically or if you want to do it as a vision board or a vision page, so that it's
Yeah.
before you, so you can have it all year to look at. This is what my word is, and this is how I'm trying to create it, and see how your whatever you call your creator, God, universe, spirit works in your life and brings it to pass. I mean, I find it as I'm driving down the road with signs. I find it when I read my books or when I read self-help or when I read scripture. I'll find this word that
It keeps
just all of a
showing
sudden
up.
yeah, or it leads to what the word means. And so it's a super interesting practice. And I just love how it's changed my life and my growth and my learning.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I can't wait to do it again. I have no idea of what my word will be for next year yet.
Yeah.
No leanings whatsoever. I have to finish the wedding and kind of move into the fall, I think, just a little bit so I can switch gears.
Yeah,
But we
because
did get our first inquiry for Safe Haven Retreat.
okay.
Somebody reached out and said they're doing an anniversary party and would love to come out and rent the retreat space. So
Okay.
I told her we're not going to open until November, and hers is February. So
Oh,
it's
cool.
exciting to begin to
Oh,
see people
very
coming so
exciting.
that we can do
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So fun.
it's coming. More safehavenretreat.life, y'all. If you want to know more about it, it's there. And CMH Coaching. And Jen, what's your website? Because I really want to send people to your website.
Well, my website isn't completely doable yet. You can go see it. It's work in progress, and you can sign up, but it's not linked for me to know that you have an appointment. So please don't make an appointment off the
Is
website.
it Jennifer Elderoos?
Nope.
What is
It's betterdays.com, and it's BETRDAYS.com.
Nice.
Because
BETR, better, BETR, days.com.
days.com. Yeah, because that's what I help you to do, just have better days.
That's
You
the truth,
do.
man.
That-
She does. She really helps us have better
Day
days.
theme.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Stacey, what are
better
we
life.
doing for book club this week? Are we starting a new book?
Yeah, we're starting a new book. It was a suggestion, and honestly, I've got to look it up because it was a suggestion by one of our book club members to do more of a story this time. And let's see what the name of it is. It's by Dean Koontz, Koontz, called The City.
The City. Is it a novel?
It's
The
a novel. He's one of my
novel.
favorites.
Oh,
Oh,
really? Oh, so
okay.
that's cool to know.
Yeah, well,
Dean?
Yeah.
He actually can write some really horrific books that'll scare your pants off. So don't read those, but then he'll write some really cool ones that make you think about things.
So
So
I got to write this down. DeanKontz. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The City. So
And it's not a scary one, is it? I don't do scary very
it
well.
didn't look scary because I would have noticed that when
Yeah.
I looked it up. I was like, okay, I'm okay to do that. I don't do
Just
scary.
I
saying
like the
he
idea of
can.
doing a novel.
Yeah.
And that's perfect time for rest as well. Just to turn off your brain and just watch the movie
Yeah.
in your head while you read this book.
Right.
It'll be
Yes.
great. All right. So happy almost October 1st. Let's just say August, but it's October. Happy almost October 1st. Tomorrow we start our last formal quarter, and we are going to finish it in style by braving the busyness and having the courage to rest.
Oh, I love that. Braving the busy.
Braving the busyness and having the courage to rest.
So
So let's
name of a good
practice.
book. Braving the busy.
Braving the busyness. That would be a good name for a good book. I'll write
Love
it down.
that. Write that down. Yeah.
All right. Writing it down. Braving the busyness.
Yep.
Yeah, well, in that book, Sacred Rest with Saundra Dalton-Smith, that
Love
was
that.
really braving the busyness and having courage to rest.
I need to read. I think I'll put that on my reading list for this busy season. Yeah, it's just a good reminder. Mhm.
It is such a good book.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and starting in October, we'll have a new theme. Next week, we will be talking about bless, which will just be so happy, and about some new books and some new thoughts and some new ways. Virginia Pinkley Pierce's book is one of the books that we'll be reading this month and pertaining to being blessed. And Emily Freeman's book, the one on abundance.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
7
That's
something.
this month too, right? So Emily Bell Freeman and Virginia Pinkley Pierce. I got the backwards mouth today.
I like
Virginia
Pinkley.
Pinkley Pierce.
Emily
She's also
called-
on Barbara Morgan Gardner's podcast this week. If you want to hear from Sister Pierce, yeah,
Emily's is called The Promise of Enough.
there it is, The Promise of Enough, which I really love that premise that we are enough, we do enough, we have enough. The
Blessed.
promise of enough.
Blessed. Yep.
Till next time, y'all. Have a beautiful week.
Guys.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/CMH Coaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Moment by moment, it's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Whoa, day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. What you thinking? 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 You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/CMH Coaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.